so much. Now, the African National Congress, the ANC, has announced that former Western Cape Premier and Ambassador to the US, Ebrahim Rasool, is the new provincial head for the 2019 election plan. The move is seen as an effort to bring back voters lost to the DA 10 years ago, especially those from the coloured community who form a majority in that particular province. The question really is, will they achieve this? Ebrahim Rasool joins us now live from our studios in Sea Point. Mr. Rasool, good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
No, thank you very much, Palesa, and to your listeners. And I really wish I had that lovely coffee that you have in your espresso studio to wake up here.
Only if we had you here, but next time when you come around, we'll certainly arrange that one. I'm having mine here, but yeah, hard like next time, Mr. Rasool. Well, I suppose congratulations are in order for your appointment, but it's not going to be an easy one. One of the biggest issues in the Western Cape is racial cohesion. What's your plan?
Look, I think that it is an exceptionally difficult task to pick the ANC up from what has characterized it over the last decade of difficulty, the kind of moral authority that was lost, the electoral support that was lost in the Western Cape. We're under 30%. And so we've got to pick it up. And I think that we're doing this in the most polarized situation that we have ever been. I think that we have seen, on the one hand, different communities going to different ramparts of racial polarization. And so the first task really has to be, how do you create a cohesive society? How do we appeal to all people? It's not going to be about the colored question. It's going to be about the national question. How do we get everyone in behind this optimism that has been occasioned by the election of President Cyril Ramaphosa, both as ANC leader and as the country's president? I think people want to be part of this renewal, this growth, this repositioning of South Africa. And I think that that's the essential invitation that we've got to make to the people of the Western Cape.
Yeah, certainly. And really, let's talk about the level of trust that perhaps the people of the Western Cape have on you. We know that you've been at the helm of that province up until 2008. And some people are saying this is the very same person who his administration ran an advertisement back in 2005, I think, that referred to the coloured communities supporting the DA as coconuts. How do you respond to that?
Look, I think that we have put those kind of issues behind us. We weren't referring to the colored community. It was a particular DA member. But I know it was completely inappropriate at whoever it was aimed. I've publicly gone beyond that. Yeah. And so I think that I have done a more honorable thing than those tweeting that colonialism is good, that Africans are refugees, etc. But leave that behind us. I think that what people should be looking at is that in that era, growth in the Western Cape was at 5.8%. We built the Berg River Dam in anticipation of the water crisis. Our tariff increases were moderate, not the kind of 27% increase that is going to be visited on the people of the Western Cape. While they reduce their water usage, their water bills are going to go up. And so I think that these are the kind of things that a ANC needs to take up, that the opposition of the ANC will need to bring to the attention of people. And so I think that we're going to try to bend history. Yeah. We are going to try to make sure that an impossible task of lifting the ANC out of the 20% could put us within striking distance of bringing the kind of enthusiasm and growth and renewal and healing that the Cyril Ramaphosa presidency has brought to the nation. We've got to bring it to the Western Cape, because I think that we are in a crisis situation here, given that there's an effective abdication by the government in the province and the government in the city from their responsibilities to the citizens.
Yeah, but as much as we want to leave the past right where they belong in the past, I mean, the moment you were appointed to this position, people started talking about your legacy within that province. People, bringing those allegations that you were facing previously, saying that you had paid journalists to write positive stories about you. As much as we want to leave them in the past, but they always have a way of coming back. Most importantly, when people are appointed to such important positions.
Look, I must say that I am actually quite relieved that no one comes to tell me that you are lying about the 5.8% growth rate. No one comes to tell me that we are lying about the housing programs that were rolled out, about the 20,000 bambananis that were keeping people safe. What they go back to is those kind of allegations that you make. And they've had 10 long years, Palesa, to find the proof, to put it in front of the public. What they have done is to put labels in front of the public and not at all be able to say that this is the proof that we have. So when I say I leave it in the past, it's because I've given everyone 10 years to either get over it or to produce the kind of proof. But I actually welcome the fact that they have nothing else that they substantially bring up except that.
Yeah. Now, let's just look at the support for the ANC. We do know that after 1994, it just went one direction. And when you were previously victorious in that province, you sort of needed a coalition to govern. And sentiment really is still there, Mr. Rasool, that you won't be able to win against the DA on your own. What do you base the confidence that you have that the ANC will be victorious in next year's elections on?
Look, I think that, as I said, it's a very, very difficult path. It's one that I think that we are prepared to embrace for the long term. I think we are not in the business simply of winning votes. You have put it correctly. We are in the business of winning trust, of building cohesion amongst different racial groups. We will not even leave the white community out of our engagements during this election campaign, because I think that for the Western Cape to reach its full potential, we need everyone to contribute. We need to repopulate the middle ground in the province, because everyone is standing on polarized ramparts, shouting at each other. Anger for the exclusion and the poverty on the black side of the equation, and the real fear of losing privilege on the white side of the equation. If we can bring that into conversation, if we can rebuild that middle ground, I think that that's where we are going to go to. If we were to do really well in the election, that would be a bonus. But I think that we have a task of building that middle ground.
A very quick one on this, Mr. Rasool. Are you looking at bringing Patricia de Lille into the ANC? We know the motion of no confidence went through by her party caucus last night. And this is... Even Fikile Mbalula was saying that this is a very strong woman. Are you looking at engaging her and perhaps saying, look, come to the ANC now that the EA has put through a motion of no confidence against you?
Look, I think that we are not placing our fortunes in a personality that is in the DA at this point. I think Patricia de Lille must do what she must do. The ANC is not going to be over-eager in playing its hand in any of that. We are not going to be unduly gleeful or triumphalist about it. What we are saying is that this is the party that said Cape Town would be the best run city, the Western Cape would be the best run province, and when they got power, they just became another party, susceptible to corruption, susceptible to infighting, crisis in the city, a water crisis in the city, raising tariffs on the poor. And so I think that that is the story of what is going on in the DA. It is not a soap opera about Patricia de Lille. It is the crisis of the people of the Western Cape that is in enormous difficulty.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for coming through. Hopefully here next time when you come here, we'll have that coffee in studio. Thank you so much for coming through, Mr. Rasool.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ebrahim Rasool, the newly appointed head of the African National Congress's election campaign in the Western Cape, talking to us there about his vision, of course, and how he hopes to bring back the Western Cape to the ANC. Let's take a look at some tweets, of course, that you sent through in relation to this particular interview. Johnson writing to us saying, it is time for her, referring to Patricia de Lille, of course, to go. She can be more effective outside the disabling DA. She's too big for them come 2019. They will regret this move. Nepster writing to us saying, it is clear that Patricia is no longer wanted at the DA. The best thing is she resumes her party ID and do away with DA. She is no longer happy at all at DA. Palma Balani saying, the writing has been on the wall with a permanent marker no all. Okay. Walter Patrick May is saying it's been a long time coming for Patricia de Lille. DA is well trained on how to deal with blacks and coloureds. But Helen Zille is still Premier and JP Smith is still in his portfolio. Looking forward to seeing how Mayor de Lille will reinvent herself. We will see the effects of these things come 2019. Bongani Mzinyani saying the DA is slowly showing its true colors. We are waiting to see the obvious verdict. Musi has the same fate. Mark my words. Sipo saying it is the end of the road for DA come next year. People were waiting for signal, and the signal was there at Mama Winnie's memorial service for all to see that she's joining the EFF. I think, of course, referring to the fact that she was a guest speaker at the memorial service of Mama Winnie in Brantford that was organized by the EFF. Mpo Olifant saying she should do herself a massive favor and resign with immediate effect, waiting for the DA federal executive will shame her even further by firing her in public. DA is using Stratcom tendencies to destroy her credibility and completely finish her political career. Time now for her to go. The next one from Toki is saying it's been long coming. The decision was already made by the few elite in the DA. She was not going to survive this at all. Simpiwe writing to us saying this shows there is rot inside the DA. Why would they create a special clause for de Lille? Of course, referring to the recall clause that was implemented at the DA's recent Congress in Pretoria. The last one from Kagiso saying DA has demonstrated that they don't want de Lille any longer, hence they're using every mechanism at their disposal to get rid of her. If I were de Lille, I could have long saved myself from this embarrassment. All right, keep them coming at Morning Live SABC's our Twitter handle. Let's hear your take, of course, on this whole Patricia de Lille drama. Of course, last night, the DA's caucus passing that motion of no confidence. Now she will have to make representations to the federal executive and explain as to why she should not be removed from her position. At Morning Live SABC, it's our Twitter handle. Let's hear how you view the entire situation. All right, let's take a quick